Hey everyone, welcome back to Geek Trunk. And today's video is all about Star Wars. If you watch my recent videos here, you know that I went to Moon Toys and Collectibles and picked up quite a few Star Wars figures. Now they got a decent amount of new inventory, not new figures, new inventory. Figures like 30th anniversary, we have Saga Legends. There is a vintage collection figure in here. There is the coin album, 30th anniversary. So we're going to open that album up. We'll put some coins inside there because I've never seen it. I want to see what it looks like. We'll look at all the figures. We'll look at the packaging. Some of them I'll rip out a package. I'll put on display in my room. We'll take a look at that all set up. So what do you say? Let's do this! Well, since we're taking a look at some oldies but goodies, I thought it would be fun to have this Toys R Us background. I actually purchased this from the Cardboard Galaxy. You can find them on Instagram and eBay. Also makes a lot of other cardboard displays. From the Moon of Endor and the Saga Collection comes Chief Chirper and 2 Rebel Troopers. The Saga Collection toy line came out in 2006 and ran through 2007, and there were 74 basic figures in this collection. A little bit over 5 points of articulation and some unique weapons and accessories. This toy line is super cool. Rebel Troopers come with removable helmets or hats. The head sculpt looks really good. The jacket looks like it's a separate piece. You can't really remove it, but it looks great. It also comes with a figure stand with a nameplate on it, which is awesome. And it also says what movie it came from, Return of the Jedi. The backpack plugs in the back, which is really good. We have a swivel elbow and articulation in the wrist. We have a knee bend and ankle movement also, which is pretty decent. So overall, not too bad of articulation in this guy. And it looks like the wrist can come off also, so you can swap out the wrist if you wanted to. It does come with a weapon, which is great. Here is the second Rebel Trooper, and it's almost the exact same figure, except for some of the color changes, like the skin color. The pants are a little bit different, but it's a great way to get a different character without really changing that much about it. I mean, they go great together. The packaging is even the same. They put both of the characters on the front of the package, which is pretty cool. And I like it. I think they did a great job with this. One of the things I really missed about the figures from the past is the little pamphlets and the little catalogs these came with. I mean, it's not a huge catalog, but you unravel it and you can see all these figures that are coming out or that are out now, some of the ships. That is super fun, and it made you look forward to what's coming next. From the expanded universe in the 30th anniversary comes the Rebel Vanguard Trooper. I know he's from the expanded universe, but the packaging, it looks like it has some greenery. So is he from the forest, Moon of Endor? Actually, looking at that helmet, he could probably go pretty well with the Tantive 4, right? But although, could you imagine that rocket launcher on that Tantive 4 going against those stormtroopers? They would not have a chance. Maybe that's what they would have needed. Put this guy out there, the movie would have ended in like the first act. See you later, Vader. But I think I'm definitely going to put him in my Endor display. The head sculpt looks great. I guess my biggest complaint about this figure is the peg hole. The peg holes on the bottom of his feet are pretty shallow. So when putting him on that display stand, it doesn't fit securely. Another cool accessory piece this came with, a coin, 30th anniversary. It's kind of like a throwback from the 1985 Power of the Force line. That's awesome. From the desert planet of Tatooine and the Saga Collection comes Garindan and 2 Sandtroopers. All right, let's take a look at the Sandtroopers. And I gotta say, I've been wanting one of these for a while. I'm pretty sure the vintage collections, they're definitely gonna make a Sandtrooper, but this Saga Collection version, it's not too bad at all. They definitely made a few different versions of these, like dirtier versions. They had a little bit more clean versions. Some of them had different colors on their, I guess, the top armor, whatever you want to call that shoulder piece. These two figures are exact same. I wish the Full Moon Toys and Collectibles had a few more different versions of them, but they had these two, so I picked these up. I think they're pretty cool, and they're going to look great in my display, even if Hasbro makes vintage collection figures. I think these are still going to go pretty well with them. Definitely has some pretty decent articulation for the Saga collection, I gotta say. But I am no expert, and I know a lot of TVC collectors are probably like, no, this one's trash. But in my opinion, I think it's a pretty nice Stormtrooper or Sandtrooper. What's great about it is you can remove the helmet, and you have this giant peg. Look at that. But you can remove that piece, and let's see if I can put this on a TVC Stormtrooper. And there we go. We're going to compare the new Stormtrooper to this Saga Collection Sandtrooper, and I think they look pretty good together. But let's remove this helmet on the TVC figure. Definitely a different ball joint, or whatever you want to call it, on the new TVC versus the Saga Collection. So you definitely can't swap heads. But this piece, it does fit, and it doesn't look too bad. So if you wanted to make your own, customize your own Sandtrooper, there you go. You can just kind of like hot glue this to the back, because, you know, hot glue works great. Kind of customize it, maybe shave a little bit there, or just plop it on the back just like that. I think it looks pretty good. So there you go, a custom Sandtrooper. Now this is the figure I'm most excited about, is Garindan. Now I've wanted a decent version of this character. I've had the Power of the Force one, or whatever, the Power of the Jedi one that came out. It's an okay figure, but this one is the one I really wanted. Now, when I went to Full Moon Toys and Collectibles for the first day, this is the figure I had in my mind that I was hoping to find, and they didn't have it. But when I went back the following weekend, and they had more figures out back in bins, I started searching through the bins, and like the first one I went through, there he was. I was so excited to find this figure. Definitely a great looking figure. Decent articulation. I'm pretty sure that Hasbro is going to remake this figure for the Return to Tatooine line that they got going on now. But if they don't, this is definitely the best version we have. And it really is good. I'd be happy with this figure even if they didn't make a new TVC version. But don't get me wrong, I would love a new style packaging with this figure in it. A little bit better articulation, but overall, I think this guy looks fantastic, and he's going to look great in the HasLab when I get it later on this year. But let me know in the comments, what do you think of this guy? From the deleted scenes of Mos Eisley comes Luke Skywalker and Biggs Darklighter. And to be perfectly honest with you, the two droids, I thought they were from Tatooine. I didn't know they were from Hoth, but don't tell anyone. Here we have Luke Skywalker from the Saga Collection. This is Escape from Mos Eisley version. He does come with a poncho. He comes with the hat and goggles. The goggles are attached. The figure's not the greatest, but the accessories are really what I wanted for this figure. I mean, all these accessories can go with pretty much any Luke. The Luke's not too bad. I mean, it's not horrible. I mean, for today's standards, sure, but for the Saga Collection, it's not too bad. That hand that holds the binoculars is kind of odd looking. It's a little too oversized, but overall, I mean, the figure's not horrible, especially if you put the poncho back on. It actually hides a lot of the flaws about this figure. Here's a look at the poncho, and not too bad. It's going to look great on pretty much any Luke that I have. Here is the binoculars. Not too bad. It's a great accessory, and he can hold it pretty well with that oversized hand. Here's the lightsaber. Not too bad either. Here's the basket from Obi-Wan Kenobi's hut. Comes with a lightsaber in there. I'm not sure what that medallion on the left is. Probably a trophy for Obi-Wan Kenobi. And there's a training ball and some other accessories in there. None of them are removable. They're all just molded in there. But you can put this lightsaber right up top in that little spot. And it looks really good. I think it's a really cool accessory. Next up is the Power Droid. And as I said earlier, I thought it was from Tatooine, but it's from Empire. This is from Hoth. And now I remember this Power Droid. He's in the movie briefly, but I mean, it's cool. I was going to put him with my Sandcrawler, but I guess I'm going to have to put him with my Hoth display. These pieces are detachable, which is pretty cool. Here is another droid. I'm not really sure the name of this droid, but this was packed in with Aunt Beru back in, I believe it was the Power of the Force days. Here we have Biggs, and I think this version is not too bad. I mean, it's going to look great as a background character in my Tatooine outer display, like the outside of Mos Eisley Cantina, walking around. I mean, it's a pretty cool looking figure. The articulation's not the greatest. He has almost no articulation in the legs. I mean, they go straight up and down, but no knee bend at all. He does have a weapon, which is pretty cool. He put that in a holster. I mean, the arms, a decent articulation. He has some head movement there. The head does pop off. So I guess you could change the head and put somebody else on if you wanted to. Unfortunately, the cape was bleeding, like the color was coming off on the coat. I mean, it's not a big deal, but that's just something to think about. But overall, I mean, he's going to make a great background character in my display. Does come with the 30th anniversary coin, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, there's no dramatic entrance to these figures, but these figures are pretty cool. We have Return of the Jedi, The Empire Strikes Back, and 2-1B from Revenge of the Sith. Now, even though he's from that movie, I'm going to put him in my Empire Strikes Back display because it is 2-1B and I need a better version than the one I have. I already have the Power of the Force version. I believe that's where it's from. But this one's far superior. There's so much more articulation on this guy, and he looks great. I think he might be a little undersized, but I could be wrong. I mean, comparing him to the other figures, he is about the same height. But I always thought like the Power of the Force version was a little bit taller. We'll compare him later on, but yeah, I think it's a great looking figure. Here we have the 30th anniversary Han Solo with the torture rack. Now this one I've definitely wanted for quite a while. I remember seeing this in stores back when it came out. I don't know why I didn't buy it back then, but I love it. I'm glad I have it now. And it's not even an expensive figure, but I just like to find things in store. I don't like to buy things online if I don't have to. So I'm super happy to find this at Full Moon Toys and Collectibles. It's a decent figure. I mean, we're not going to get figures like this anymore, are we? Figure also comes with a coin, which is pretty cool. Here we have Princess Leia as Leia Bouche or Leia Bosch, potato, tomato. I honestly think this figure is really good. I mean, compared to the vintage collection, I think it holds up pretty well. Sure, the TVC version's probably a little bit better, but I think this is going to look great in my Jabba display. I don't need to have every figure the best in my displays. I don't mind breaking it up, having 30th anniversaries and Saga collections in there amongst the rest, amongst the best TVC versions. I like to mix it up a little bit. As we took a look at some of the other Saga collection figures, I think this one has really good articulation for a Saga collection. Usually it's like the 30th anniversary and some of the, what do they call that? The Saga Legends definitely has some great articulation, but for this version, I think it's a really good Leia. And again, what I love about the Saga collection is they come with a figure stand. From the ice planet Hoth comes AT-AT Driver, General Veers, and Luke Skywalker. Now, out of all the troopers, the clone troopers, the stormtroopers, the TIE fighter pilots, all that, the AT-AT Driver is my favorite. I know a lot of people like the Biker Scout, but no, I love the AT-AT Driver. Although the Snowtrooper is pretty cool looking too. The articulation's not too bad on this figure, but the sculpt, to me, I love it, man. I think it looks fantastic. We do have elbow, wrist articulation. Well, glove articulation, I guess you want to call it. We do have a knee bend, which is decent. No boot, no foot articulation at all. I think we can get him to sit down like that. I think those straps get in the way a little bit, but I think we can get him to sit down in the AT-AT. We'll check that out later. Here we have General Veers, and I have to say, out of all the figures, this one has the weakest of the articulation. I mean, he does have some arm movement. He can move his head up and down, but he has no knee bend at all. Figure stand's pretty cool. Like I said, I do like a good figure stand. But the figure itself he's okay. I mean, I kind of need him for my AT-AT. The blaster does fit in the holster, which is great. But check out this feature. We have a removable forearm. Look at that. That is awesome. Not really, but it does pop right back in, which is good. So nothing was broken. This figure is great because it is like having two versions in one, because it comes with the chest plate, but you have to remove the blaster from the holster in order to put the chest plate on. So let's remove that. Chest plate fits on just like that. Snaps right in, no problem. It stays on really good. He also has the helmet, which goes right over his head. You can't remove the hat, so the helmet has to go on top of the hat, which is fine because it still fits. And it actually doesn't look too bad at all. Let me know in the comments, did the Vintage Collection make this figure? And if they did they give him the chest plate and the helmet? Next up, we have Luke Skywalker from Saga Legends. Now, let me tell you, Saga Legends is a great line. Now, this came out in 2013, which is a pretty unique line. Now, not only does it come with an amazing figure, it also comes with secret weapons and a card game, dice. I mean, this thing is packed with a ton of stuff. We have a lightsaber. We have the harpoon gun, which is pretty awesome. Really looks great. The helmet is removable, and you have a pretty decent head sculpt of Luke Skywalker. I mean, it's great that he has that hood that goes over his head. He is looking straight up, which I don't know if I like that, but I guess when he's going up to the AT-AT, he is looking up, so I guess it fits for this figure. This harpoon gun is pretty cool. It does come off, and it does have that long string, which is pretty decent. I do wish it fired, though. That would be pretty cool. And this is basically like, is this the beginning of the Vintage Collection? Because the articulation and the sculpt of this figure is really, really good. I don't know, but this might be the best version of Luke Skywalker in the Snowspeeder gear. But let me know in the comments, is there a better version? Did the Vintage Collection make this figure? Possibly. I mean, there's so many figures out there. I'm not an expert on all of them, but I do know this figure looks great. It does come with dice. I don't know how to play this game, and let me know in the comments, do you know anybody who has ever played the game? It does come with this card, which is pretty cool. So again, you can battle other figures, roll the dice, and play. I think that's a pretty cool idea that they tried to do. I don't know if it really took off. As far as I know, it didn't, but who knows, maybe it did. Also comes with another flyer here, a little catalog, which is pretty cool. I love the picture of Luke Skywalker with the AT-ATs behind it. That looks really awesome. We have some figures that you can possibly get. We have the AT-AT there. That is really cool. On the other side, more figures and another image of General Grievous, which is really awesome. So as I said earlier, this definitely comes with a bunch of different accessories, including the secret weapons. And look at this, a bag full of weapons. I mean, that's unheard of. You don't see that anymore these days. They come with so many extra weapons, and these weapons don't even belong with this Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker had a lightsaber, right? Maybe a blaster, and also the spear gun. But as far as these weapons, I think it's pretty cool because you can mix and match with other figures that you possibly buy later on, and you can use it when you're playing the game. I'm not 100% sure. I've never played the game, like I said, but These weapons are really cool, and extra weapons, I'm not going to complain. I mean, that looks like it came from Gears of War. And this one here, is this from Halo, possibly? I don't know, but I've never seen any of these weapons in any Star Wars movie, but I think those are pretty awesome. That one's pretty cool. So this Luke Skywalker is packed full of stuff. Look at that. And next up, from the original Clone Wars series, here we have a Hammerhead. This is Roran Korob, I believe. Don't beat me up if I pronounce his name wrong, but this Hammerhead is super cool. I love this one. Take a look at that lightsaber. Now, that looks amazing. Next up, probably one of the most controversial figures ever made. This is from the expanded universe. This is Nom Anor. I don't think a lot of people like this figure because he doesn't feel like he fits in Star Wars, but I think he looks awesome. Look at that head sculpt. This guy is pretty insane. Last but not least, we have the 30th anniversary coin album. Now again, I've never owned this before. I've never seen it opened. So I'm really curious to see what this album looks like. I mean, for $15, I don't mind opening it up and checking it out. It does come with a figure, which is pretty cool. Darth Vader with a coin. But I don't think I'm going to remove Darth Vader from the package. I think I'm going to keep him on card. Because I have so many loose Darth Vaders as it is, and I don't need another one. Although it does come with the coin, but I do have a gold coin of Vader, so I don't think I need that one. Alright, let's take a look at the album, and wow, look at that. I love how Star Wars, it's shimmery. On the back, there we have, I think that's Attack of the Clones, right? Yep, Count Dooku, Grievous, Palpatine, Vader, Luke, Leia, Lando, Chewie, Han, Obi-Wan. Wow, let's get everybody there. All the troopers, Jango Fett. Well, there's Boba Fett, Yoda. Wow, the Phantom Menace. We have Maul there, Qui-Gon. There's a spot for 40 coins. 40 coins. I don't think I have 40 coins. Check out the other side. Again, there's a little pamphlet there. I'm gonna have to take that off in a minute. But we have an additional side for coins, and it looks like we can fit up to 60 coins total, from what I can see. And I think there's even more. Yeah, if I open that up, look at, are those special coins that or extras maybe? I know I have a gold coin, so maybe that's where the gold coin would go. So there's some right up there. I can't really read it without my glasses, but a lot of stuff. And I love how it's like shimmery and shines. It's actually, I mean, for $15, man, this is a deal and a half. And then we have all my coins. So let's take a look at the coins real quick. So we have 4, 8, 12, 16 coins. Plus a gold coin. 17 coins, and I got to fill up 60 spots? I don't think I can do it. I know Tim from Bosch Bounty, his son, Little Bosch, I know he has a bunch of coins. I wonder if he could fill up this album. I think it'd be pretty cool to fill up this album, but I don't think... I guess you could buy the coins separate. There's a gold coin, there's Vader. Might be a different Vader than the one in that other package, but here's the back of the coins. Pretty cool. I think it's a pretty fun gimmick, I guess, or little add-on for the 30th anniversary. I mean, just like Power of the Force, right? Power of the Force came with coins back in 1985, so 30th anniversary, there you go. And again, here we have a pretty cool catalog for all the figures. I mean, I really wish that Hasbro would do this again, put in a nice little catalog. This way you can do a checklist. What do you want to buy? What do you want for the holidays? Your birthday coming up. Hey, circle it, and there you go. That's what I want. So let's load this up with all the coins that I have. There's really I don't think there's a certain spot where each coin goes. You just put them wherever you want, which is good, I guess, because I kind of want to have the ones that I have all together instead of just sporadically through the whole album. This way I can open it up and I can see all my coins in one spot. But let me know in the comments, do you own this album? Do you like it? I mean, for $15, you can't beat it, right? I love the images of all the characters on it. I mean, this is definitely a pretty cool display piece. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in 1985, didn't the Power of the Force also have an album? It might have been a mail away, right? I almost forgot to mention that the Saga Collection also came with these little mini characters. I was never a big fan of these, but I mean, I guess they're kind of cool. As I promised earlier in the video, I said I was going to open the figures and show you some of them on display. So check this out. Here's outside of the cantina, and that is the Garindan and Sandtroopers from Power of the Force 2. And here we have the new figures here. Here we have the deleted scene, Luke and Biggs. I think they look pretty cool outside the cantina. Some extra figures in there, but right back there we have the new Garindan and the Sandtroopers. I think they look great. So later on in the year, I am expecting the Cantina HasLab to come in, and that's exactly where that's going to go, is right here. I hope there's enough room. I mean, I definitely have enough figures to go in the HasLab. I think I have all the Cantina aliens and a few extras from like Attack of the Clones there. But I'm excited for the HasLab Cantina. I think all these figures are going to look great. Here we have the new Power Droid, and again, I did think he was from Tatooine, but he is from Hoth, and also the other droid, and I don't know the name of that droid, and because he was originally packaged with Aunt Beru and she was pouring milk, I think I'm going to name that droid the Milkman droid, right? I think that's a good name. Here's my Empire Strikes Back carbon freezing set. I know you had to buy two and I had to add lights, but I love it, man. I think it looks great. One of my favorite pieces. And here we have Han Solo in the torture rack. I think this set is super cool, and I'm sure Hasbro's not going to ever make that again, so I'm happy to have it. Now, I know I say this a lot, but this is one of my favorite pieces of my collection. This is the Galaxy Edge Vintage Collection Millennium Falcon. It's not just a vehicle, it's a playset. Look at this. Super cool. And there is 21B over in the medical area. I think he looks great. And what do you say? Let's compare him to the Power of the Force 2 version. Which one do you like best? Oh, man. It's really hard to say which one I like the best. I kind of like them both. Here's my Jabba the Hutt display, and this is before I add the new figures. That is the holographic Luke Skywalker in front of R2-D2. And the flooring is actually from the Cardboard Galaxy, so if you're interested in that, check them out on Instagram and eBay. Here's Leia Bouche from the Saga Collection next to Chewbacca. I wonder if they're going to make a new Chewbacca with a chain around his neck. Probably not, right? Here's my 1980 AT-AT with the Power of the Force 2 figures inside. I think they look pretty good. Here's the Power of the Force 2 AT-AT with the Saga Legends Luke Skywalker Snowspeeder. I think that figure is amazing. I love it. And here is the AT-AT driver and General Veers from the Saga Collection. Pretty cool. Here's my Tatooine display, and there is Obi-Wan Kenobi's basket as well as his robe after Darth Vader took him down. Here's my Endor display. This is the bunker. I think that looks great. Here is the Ewok Village. I do have the Battle Wagon. That is a 3D printed skull on top. I think it looks great. As I said before, I like to mix my figures. We have vintage figures with the Power of the Force 2. We have Saga Collection, Vintage Collection. I love it all. Chief Chirper, the Rebel Troopers, the Vanguard Trooper. I think it all looks great. But let me know in the comments. What do you think? So overall, I'm pretty excited about this haul. Now, there's a lot of figures in here that I've wanted for quite a while, so I'm happy to have them. I want to give a big thank you and a big shout out to Val and Robert from Moon Toys and Collectibles. You guys are awesome. If you enjoyed watching this video and you want to see more of Moon Toys and Collectibles, be sure to check out my previous videos. I'll leave a link in the description of this video. If you enjoyed watching this haul and you haven't seen Martin and Adam's haul from a long time ago, their YouTube channel, check it out and check out the haul that they got. I picked them up a bunch of figures and I sent it all the way to the UK. So if you haven't watched that video, go check it out. I'll put a link in the comments of this video, not the description. I'll put it in the comments because I think it might make it a little bit easier for you to find. Also, as I said many times in this video, be sure to check out the Cardboard Galaxy on Instagram and eBay. He made this Toys R Us backdrop. I absolutely love it. I'm all the way to the moon on this. I think it's a fun display piece, especially for 3 3/4 inch figures. Definitely a little bit different than my green screen that I normally use, and I really like this. I'm not going to use it all the time, but I'll use it for things like this. I think it's pretty cool. So again, check him out, the Cardboard Galaxy on Instagram and eBay. He's awesome. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. Remember, we are all Geek Strong. Take care, everyone.